Big Brother is watching you. Facial recognition cameras go live at some London train stations in a 6-month trial. If you travel by train, you may have spotted live facial recognition cameras watching you at some of our major train stations. It's part of a trial which British Transport Police believe will be a game changer, in their words. The cameras scan faces and compare them with a watch list of people wanted for serious offences. But not everyone's in favour of them. There are concerns about privacy and the camera's reliability. Here's Layla Hayes.
Scanning faces in the crowd. Here at Euston Station, British Transport Police are using live facial recognition cameras to try and catch criminals. They say it's a game changer.
Effectively, if somebody walks through the station, the camera has a zone of recognition. So if you walk through that zone of recognition, the system just checks your facial images quickly against the system. If you're on the watch list, it will notify an officer who can then think about the next steps and think about what action to take. If you're not on the watch list, your data is immediately and permanently deleted.
Police say this technology is at the cutting edge of fighting crime and will keep passengers safe. But privacy campaigners have serious concerns.
The Met is now facing a legal challenge over its use of the cameras from campaigners who say the technology is being expanded without proper safeguards.
We could perhaps make society safer by putting cameras in every single bedroom, living room and kitchen in the country. But the fact is that in a free society, we have this discussion between privacy and security, and that is supposed to happen in democratic institutions. It's not supposed to be the case that police just deploy technology and wait for the rules to catch up.
Back at Euston, passengers we spoke to seemed fairly relaxed.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think at the end of the day, if you have nothing to hide, you're just be open, just be honest. Because obviously criminals are around, we need to make sure we're tracking down criminals. So it's a good idea, but I'm not got concerns. I'm not a criminal, so I'm fine.
I think it's better to be able to identify criminals in a crowd. I feel safer for them being there.
The cameras are now being trialled at stations across London. So if you think you're being watched, there's every chance you might be. Layla Hayes, BBC London.
Sonia Jessup, our Home Affairs correspondent, I know you've been looking at this subject for some time. The British Transport Police, they're trialling this for 6 months, but isn't there a High Court case going on at the moment?
There is. Now, that's focused on the Met Police. Two campaigners are arguing that there aren't adequate safeguards for the way it's expanding LFR as it's known. There's no specific legislation that regards its use. One of those campaigners, Sean Thompson, was mistakenly misidentified by LFR a couple of years ago. The campaigners argue that without limits on where it's used, it could be that impossible for people to travel across London without having their biometric data being processed. Now, the Met, on the other hand, argue that with thousands of wanted suspects, it's a bit like looking for a needle in a huge haystack. So LFR identifies people who would otherwise be missed. Now, that High Court hearing took place last month, but we've got to wait for a judgment to be handed down.
And why are they trialling this at train stations as opposed to tube stations, bus stations?
Well, the Home Secretary has said that she wants every police force in England and Wales to be using LFR. And there have been some who've called for it to be used more widely, including, you might remember, following that knife attack on a train in Huntingdon last November. Now, British Transport Police says this pilot is not in relation to that, but it says that it has seen some great results from other forces and it wants this pilot to explore whether it helps to keep the public safe and also the public response to it as well.
OK. Sonia Jessup, thank you very much.